Hello, Abnormal Investigations. This will be your 8 o'clock drop. You got another one sent in I want to share with you, and I think y'all are going to enjoy this one also. I think this one was kind of a sneaky one, actually, but I think you're really going to enjoy it, and we'll go ahead and jump into this one. He says, I had just got off work and made me a meal that I shared with my Rottweiler every night through the window that sit beside my recliner. Me and my Rottweiler, we were besties. As I sat in my recliner, savoring my warm meal and comforting presence of my loyal Rottweiler, I felt my stress melting away. My dog Max, he sat by me side, his big brown eyes gazing up at me adoringly as he waited for his share of the food. I smiled, feeling grateful for this peaceful moment, and began to feed him bits of my dinner through the window as I always did. The evening sunlight cast a warm glow over us, and the sounds of the TV created a soothing background hum. It was moments like these that I cherished. Surrounded by the simple pleasures in life, good food, loving companionship, and the comfort of my own home. As the night wore on, Max would stay by the window, his eyes fixed on me with a hopeful glaze, waiting for one last snack before bedtime. I'd chuckle and oblige him, handing him a final treat through the window. He'd wag his tail, his ears perking up in delight, and then settle down into the grass, his eyes never leaving mine. It was our special ritual, a moment of connection before we both drifted off to sleep. As I closed the curtains and headed to bed, I'd smile knowing that Max is just outside keeping watch over me in our little routine. It was a small but special part of our bond, a reminder that even in the quiet moments, love and companionship can be found. All of a sudden, Max went crazy. He was trying to jump through the window into the house, and he has never done that. He was alarmed. I jumped up from my chair and rushed to the window, trying to calm Max down. He was whimpering and pawing at the glass. I told him, "Get down." I spoke softly to him, trying to reassure him that everything was okay, but he was beyond reason. He scratched at the window, trying to get in, and I had to use all my strength to hold him back. My heart was racing. Finally, I managed to grab his collar and pull him away from the window. I led him to the backyard, speaking softly to him, trying to calm him down. Once he was safe, I realized that something must have spooked him pretty bad. I looked around, but I saw nothing out of the ordinary. Whatever it was, it had left Max shaken. I stayed with him until he calmed down, feeling a mix of concern and relief. It was a reminder that even our furry friends can have moments of fear and vulnerability. I wanted to stay up a bit and to make sure Max was okay, so I made some fries and ketchup for a snack. Yeah, I'm a sucker for fried French fries soaked in ketchup. As I settled back into my chair with my snack, Max cautiously approached the window again, his tail wagging tentatively. I smiled and held out a French fry, speaking softly to reassure him. He took it gingerly, his eyes still a bit wide with fear. I fed him a few more fries and began to watch my movie and to relax as I fed him fry after fry, yes, spoiling him this time because I knew that he was afraid. His tail wagging more confidently, we spent the rest of the evening together enjoying our snack and each other's company. It was now beginning to get late. The TV played in the background, but I barely noticed, focused on comforting my shaken-up pup. As the night wore on, Max's fears seemed to fade away, replaced by his usual happy demeanor. I was grateful for the special bond we shared, and the simple joys of our quiet evening together. My hand, of course, was covered in his slobbers, so I turned on the light to clean up, and I noticed it wasn't slobbers, but it was blood. I raced outside to check on Max, and what I seen made my mind race as I started, and I stared at the gruesome scene before me. As I write this right now, I sit here and I sob. Max's body was mutilated and lifeless. His head was impaled on the fence post like some kind of a trophy. The large footprint in the mud seemed to mock me beside his water bowl. A eerie reminder that something sinister had been lurking in the shadows. And then the horrifying realization dawned on me. I had been feeding whatever had done this to Max through my window. The thought made my blood run cold. What had I been feeding? What monstrous creature had I been unknowingly indulging? I felt a wave of nausea wash over me as I stumbled backwards, my eyes fixed on the window where I had been feeding. Whatever it was. Suddenly, the darkness outside seemed to press on me, and I knew I had to get out of there fast. 2 weeks have passed, but the trauma still feels fresh. I can't shake the image of Max's mutilated body from my mind. I've been staying with my brother trying to process what happened, but can't bring myself to go back home. The thought of facing whatever did that to Max, of being in the same space where it happened, is too overwhelming. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare, unable to wake up. My brother has been supportive, but I can sense his concern. He wants me to seek help, to talk to someone about what happened. But how do I put into words the horror that I experienced? How do I explain the feeling of feeding a monster, of unknowingly enabling it? I'm trapped in this limbo, unable to move forward, unable to go back. All I can do is relive that fearful, fateful night over and over, wondering what I could have done differently. With the support of my brother and the suggestion from the therapist, I started to feel a sense of determination. I couldn't let the monster that killed Max drive me out of my own home. I decided to start with small steps, Mike, literally. I began by driving by my house just to see if I could even bear the look at it. Then I worked up the courage to stop and get out, standing in the driveway for a few minutes. The next day, well, I managed to step inside, but only for a few seconds. It was a start that felt good. I also began to research ways to protect myself in my home. I installed security cameras, motion-sensitive lights, and even considered getting a new dog. A guard dog this time. The thought of having a new furry companion helped me feel a sense of hope. As I continued to work through my fears, I realized that I wasn't alone. My friends and family were there to support me, and even the therapist offered guidance and encouragement. I started to feel like myself again, like I was taking back control of my life. But just as I was making progress, I heard the howl again, and the sounds. They were so close to human, but then so demonic. My heart raced, and I realized that the monster was still out there watching me. I knew then that I had to be brave for myself and for Max. I was determined to face my fears, to take back my home, no matter what was waiting for me. The bumps in the night and haunting howls have become an eerie routine. I've tried to convince myself it's just my imagination or stray animals, but deep down I know it's something more sinister. The note that was left on my doorstep by my neighbor asked me, "Has something happened to you? Are you hearing things also?" He must be having trouble also, and I plan to talk to him. I've increased the security measures, added more cameras and motion-sensitive lights, but the noises persist. It's as if whatever is out there is taunting me, testing my resolve. I've turned to prayer, seeking solace and faith. I pray for the strength to be able to face whatever is lurking in the dark and around my house. How do I do this? As I lie in bed listening to the creaks and the groans of the night, I whisper my prayers, hoping that somehow, some way, peace will return to my life. I don't know what to do now. I have no idea what to do. That's why I'm asking you guys. Does anybody have any more suggestions for me? I've done the cameras. I've done the lights. No, it doesn't come to my house, but it stays outside of the lights, and it still taunts me. It taunts me to an end that I don't know that I can handle. I hope, Mike, that you guys are able to help me. I think you're doing the right thing by seeing a professional. I'm sorry about your dog. And I think that lights are the best way to go. I would even probably maybe have a friend stay with you for a while if you have a friend that can stay with you. But get you a really strong spotlight. Let it know that you can light areas up that it hides in. And I would light it up bright. Let it know that just because your lights don't reach it don't mean that you can't step out at any time and just light it up for no reason. That's where I would start. I hope that helps, and maybe you'll get some good suggestions from other people in this chat. But again, thank you for sharing your encounter. And don't forget, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one.